Hi friend, welcome to another pick a card reading. In today's reading we are asking, what do you need to hear at this time? Whenever this finds you, it finds you at the right time. We are going to keep it fairly open. Aside from that, we are just asking, what do we need to hear? What do we need to bring our awareness to at this time? I have prepared 3 groups with 3 crystals. Really only picked 1 card so far. Everything else we will be pulling in the reading. So let me show you. For group 1, we have, this is a pink zebra jasper, if I remember correctly. Pretty sure. That is group 1. For group 2, we have a, there we go, a peach moonstone. I'm going to show you this one up close. And this is peach moonstone for group 2. And for group 3, we have a lovely little sunstone. So take a moment to see which crystal, which group is calling you the most. The timestamps will be in the description below. And last note for you, if you are looking to book a personal reading, you can do so on my website and only on my website. I do not reach out to you through DMs to solicit readings. But if you would like to book a reading, check out my website. It is linked in the description as well. And then I will give you a moment to focus on these beautiful crystals, and I will meet you at your pile. Hi group 1, this is your reading if you chose this lovely pink zebra jasper. There we go. Beautiful stone. We're going to put that right up here, and we're gonna put your oracle card off to the side for now. I don't know what it is, I have not peeked, so I just kind of want to get started with some tarot first. So we are asking, what is it that we need to hear right now? What we need to hear is not always what we want to hear, so let's keep that in mind, but let's see what comes out for you. For group 1, what does group 1 need to hear at this time? Oh my goodness. Starting off harsh. We have the 3 of Swords and the 7 of Swords. This can go many ways. It's going to depend a lot on context, but let me try and see if I'm picking anything up yet. So we're obviously either in the process of working through a particular heartache and not sharing it with anyone. We might be keeping it from people that actually would be able to support us. We might feel shame around this pain. There's definitely an aspect here where we are hindering ourselves from fully working through this pain. Let's keep going. I think we're holding on to parts of it. And I think that holding on has to do with the refusal to let it come to the surface. We might be suppressing this a lot. We have the 7 of Cups come out. I think whatever this pain is, because it doesn't have to be love just because it's a heart, right? And just because you see the 3 of Swords be mentioned in love readings a lot doesn't mean that this has to be a pain around love. This can be all kinds of pain. This can be pain from a romantic situation, from a work situation, from a family situation, from a friendship situation. This could also be physical pain. This could also be headaches, back pains. This can be very literal, but the very literal aspect can be a sign of something subconscious as well. But what I'm seeing here with the Seven of Cups is that I think there's a refusal for us to fully acknowledge. Like, we'd rather just kind of be done with it than fully work through it. And because of that, we're in a point, you're at a point right now where you feel like anything is still possible. Like, the situation could still turn around in like a miraculous way. The situation could still get worse. It could get better. It could get something that makes you stronger. It could be something where you come out like the shining victor, or it could be something where you come out even worse than you already feel right now. And you realize subconsciously that it is kind of like your position to choose which one do you like want to commit to, which one do you want to put your focus on, which one of those cups. And I think you're kind of avoiding making a choice, and therefore we're kind of holding on to this pain in a prolonged way because we're avoiding transmuting it. And we have the Temperance card. So we have the Queen of Wands that is at the end of this row, and she is looking straight at the Temperance card. You want to bring healing, you want to bring balance from a level of your willpower. Okay, intellectually, you're still very kind of caught up with this. Emotionally, you're still caught up with this, but your passionate side of you, your solar plexus energy, your confidence is like, remember who we are. This is not, we're not going to wallow in anything. And so this Queen of Wands is looking straight at the Temperance because she knows that she can bring balance back into the situation, even though right now it's very imbalanced. Let's keep going. Talk to me about this Three of Swords. Yeah. Ouch. We have the Nine of Wands. Okay. The Nine of Wands along with this Three of Swords and that Seven of Swords, like I was saying earlier, there might be an aspect of shame in this situation, and I feel like it's something that either people have told you, if you don't watch out, this is going to happen, or you know already how this is going to end. It's ended like this every time before. You should know better. Like, there's some aspect of you not wanting to bring the pain to the surface because you feel like you really, really tried to make something work, or you really, really tried to just have something. You wanted something to be something that it's not. And in secret, you were really working really hard on it, but it was something that was outside of your control. Let's take a look at the Seven of Swords. I have the Three of Cups. Yeah, see, on the surface, I think you're like, oh, I'm fine, I'm healing, I don't need them, like, F them, whoever them is, whoever hurt you, right? Whether that is a friend, a past lover, an ex relationship, a family member, or your old boss, anything like that, right? On the surface, we're very much like, oh, I don't need them, like, I'm totally fine, and yet we're keeping up appearances, but we're not really fully processing this hurt yet because we're really exhausted. Like, I think you're still very much in this period of direct reaction to it. And again, with that With that Nine of Wands, it feels like maybe you've tried a bunch of times before. I don't know. It definitely feels like you don't have anyone that you can confide in. And I don't know if that comes from a place of having confided in your friends before and them being kind of tired of the subject, them being like, duh, it's so clear what you need to do. You just need to boss up and like get over it. But that's easier said than done, right? We also can't just pretend to be over it. There's something that we're not processing with the Seven of Swords. There's something that we're sabotaging ourselves by not acknowledging the pain thoroughly. And you may feel like, oh, but I'm crying every night alone in my bed. Like, isn't that acknowledgement enough? Like, there's an aspect of bringing appearances and reality into balance. Like, there's something where I think the people that you are around often aren't very aware of your hurt and your pain. Again, that can have multiple reasons, but there's something where because of that, people might easily trip over your trigger spots. And it kind of like, I think you're actually somewhat sensitive right now. And by not acknowledging that, it's like refusing to put a band-aid on an open wound. And you're telling yourself, oh, I'm being tough. And it's like, no, you're just going to prolong the healing experience. You're just going to risk infection. And everybody can see the scar, right? Everybody can see the gash. And just because you didn't put a band-aid on it doesn't mean that you're stronger or that you're not hurt. There's something where we really need to address this pain in us. Let's talk about the Seven of Cups. Yeah. See, there's this conflict around which healing kind of to choose. Do I choose the, oh, I'm a bad bitch and I don't care about anyone? Do I choose like, do I choose to just ignore that anything occurred? Do I choose to, and it's like all of those are really kind of counterintuitive. All of these feel very counterintuitive. And what we really need to do is minimize this. The Seven of Cups, we want to minimize that and minimize it down to an Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups would be healing and taking care of yourself, self-care, self-love, putting that first, putting your vulnerability first at all costs, even if it means that you appear to others as sensitive, as hurt, as impaired for some time. It's important to ignore the optics and focus on how it feels for you. Because I think right now you're very focused on optics. Let's talk about this Queen of Wands. Yeah. Look at this Queen of Pentacles. I love this because you're getting it together. And look at that. The King of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck, okay? And this to me indicates that you're bringing your masculine and your feminine into balance. That means that you are bringing, remember we had that Temperance card? You're going to, okay, sorry, there's just like a lot coming at once. You're very focused on bringing that balance back, right? You're very set on, you know what, you're not quite there emotionally, you're not quite there intellectually, but on a confidence level, you're like, I'm gonna figure this out. And what you're bringing into balance is the Queen and King of Pentacles. So we are bringing into that temperance balance, we are adjusting our masculine and feminine energy. Doesn't matter what you identify as, we all have masculine and feminine energy. And the feminine energy is really what's going to show you a lot more compassion and focus a lot more on your healing, and understand that that is of the utmost priority. And that then is going to bring you eventually into your King of Pentacles energy, where you can then act upon that. And that really kind of integrates both of those energies in a way where you're really working through this, because the Queen and King of Pentacles are very much focused on healthy habits, on healthy, constructive progress. And so that is what we're looking for. We're not just looking for, okay, how can I get over this mentally? We're not just looking for, how can I get over this emotionally? We're actually taking the experience and using it in a way that helps us be constructive moving forward, so that you learn from that pain. And that is beautiful. We're learning from this pain in a way where you can see, looking back, it's going to be so clear, right? Right now we're in a lot of confusion, and we're feeling like we're being pulled in different directions. And it's going to be, it's tough to get through that. And the only thing that I see carrying you through that is your willpower and your commitment to yourself. And that's where you're going to look back once you really commit to yourself. It's going to flow, right? We saw the Temperance card. It's just going to flow. And once that happens, once things just fall into place, at some point you're going to look back and be like, I don't even know how I got from here to here. Like, it just seems like such a straight line, and yet as you're going through it, it's very much ups and downs, right? But you're going to look back and be like, that was so easy that I don't even know how I did that. I really wish I had more of like direct directions. But I guess it's going to be different for each one of you. But this aspect right here is where you're going to feel stuck the most. The Seven of Cups and the Five of Wands. Because it's going to come down to your willpower, and making sure that your willpower in all aspects of you is pointed in the same direction, and not just like in the Five of Wands, headed in different directions. Meaning, what is different directions in terms of willpower when it relates to healing a pain that we've experienced? Part of your willpower is going to want revenge. Part of your willpower is going to want closure. Part of your willpower is going to want acknowledgement for the pain that I've experienced, right? There are all these different things that are going to drive you into actions, and that action could be unhealthy if the root cause of that action is coming from an unhealthy need. Meaning, for example, revenge. If one of these wands represents revenge, where is that coming from, right? That is coming from a need of feeling betrayed and wanting someone else to feel the same pain that we've experienced. That is revenge. And we think that that might lessen our pain, but we all know that that's not the case, right? And so we have to understand that drive for revenge is really a drive of anger. So we need to figure out, how do we release anger in a different way from our body so that we can feel like we've worked through it, we transmuted it, and not just tucked it away telling ourselves, no, anger is bad. Because anger itself is not bad. Anger is just an emotion. So when you feel anger, you want to find a different way to release that anger, whether that's through physicality, so working out, or whether that is through talk therapy, right? There's many different ways, and anger is just one of these wands. There's going to be different, when it comes to healing a pain that you have, it really depends on how the pain was caused. That's going to affect what these different wands are, whether they are anger or sadness, or any of those things that really kind of develop into these cups that are a lot more removed from the actual need driving it. I hope that that makes sense. But once we kind of figure out, okay, once we make more sense of, oh, I'm having all these emotions on a daily basis, because all it comes down to is that we want our hurt to be acknowledged. Typically, that is something, right? If we don't share our pain, it feels so heavy. And that is what I saw here, is that you are keeping it from surface. You are keeping it from people. So I do feel that there's some aspect here where you really need to bring attention to your pain. And that doesn't mean that you have to share it with the world, but you do have to find a way to bring it to the surface in a way that you feel comfortable and safe to do so, because it is really important for you to do that in order to work through it. Okay, I got kind of stuck in there for a second, but I hope you stuck with me. Let's get some energies around this. Yep. Okay, so we have the 10th house, we have Virgo, and we have the North Node. All right, so the 10th house is the highest point of your chart. So it is how we show up in the world, which is very much what I was talking about in terms of like, I feel like you don't want to let certain pain, certain hurts, certain upsets that you have, I don't think you want them to be known. And that's okay. That's fine. But to a certain degree, you're gonna have to let someone know, because there's an aspect here where you not showing it is actually leading to you not being honest with yourself about it. And that's where the issue lies, right? You don't have to share your pain with everyone you meet, but you do have to be honest with yourself so that you can move forward in a way that is aware of where you are still healing, because otherwise you keep re-triggering yourself, or other people keep re-triggering yourself. Okay. Also, the 10th house represents our career. So this could definitely be a work thing, like I said earlier, where, you know, you feel like you got betrayed in the workplace. There was something that that wasn't fair, and you're just kind of carrying it around with you, and it's just making it really difficult because nobody's acknowledging it, right? And then you carry this bitterness in your daily work environment with you, and it just kind of isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to heal. It's not going to come to the surface unless we focus all of these different emotions that are driving us to these little, the 7 of Cups could very well, whether it's work or not, this could very well be like microaggressions, like passive aggressiveness, right? This could very well lead to you having some kind of bitterness and sometimes lashing out at people, and maybe not even fully being aware in the moment while it happens, not being fully aware of why, and just being like, I'm so frustrated and I'm so angry at people and I don't know why, I just snap. And it's just, you want to control that, and the way to do that is to acknowledge these pains that you've been kind of suppressing. So the Virgo energy is about analyzing that, bringing attention to that so you can understand what happens and when. This is very much making me think of one of the cards in my Oracle decks that is about responding, not reacting to emotional impulses. The North Node, again, is bringing attention to this. This is all attention, attention, attention. This is very much like asking you to bring attention to this issue. Let's turn around your Oracle card now. Pass between. Interesting. So, pass between is asking, again, like the King of Pentacles, to bring balance into something and to navigate something. Just like that Temperance card, this is about navigating this really, and I know this is like a wall right here. This is like, it is such a steep jump from this to this row, but you're capable of it. And all you need to get you through that is your willpower to be like, no, I want to be able to control how I react to situations. I want to be able to understand. Like, this is want. The Queen of Wands wants, okay? So that is very important that we acknowledge that we are passing between, which is very much one step forward, two steps back sometimes. And we have to acknowledge that we are in a healing phase, right? We can't be picking at our scabs and be surprised if we start bleeding again. Let's get another oracle card for you. Very deliberate. Radical honesty. I mean, come on. This is exactly what I was talking about. To believe in the facade is to suffocate in the armor of alienation, self-defeat, and self-denial. There's something where you are not letting your wound heal because you are like suppressing it. And this is going to require, for you to get to this energy of Queen of Wands and Queen of Pentacles, it is going to require radical honesty with yourself and with others. If somebody has hurt you and you have been suppressing that, trying to keep the peace, it's very clearly not keeping the peace. Absolutely. If a friend has hurt you and they kind of have done it over and over again with, like, you know, little comments or little things that they've done, you've just been like, it's fine. I just want to keep the peace. I'll just pretend everything's fine. And then you lash out, and then you have these little outbursts, and you can't control them, right? We want to get to a point where we feel in control of our actions. Let's see. Let's get one of these. Whoop. And we have purity. I like that. Snow, moon, and then change at the bottom of the deck, asking us to use radical honesty to kind of cleanse out this wound. I feel like there's literally like a gash, a wound on your arm. You're not putting a band-aid on it. You haven't cleaned out the wound, so there's like dirt particles in there. You've just told yourself, oh, it's fine. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It will heal. I'll just, you know how sometimes you get a scratch or something and you're like, that could air dry, you know, that could heal just like on its own. But other times it's like, oh no, this is very clear, like I need to use some hydrogen peroxide on the wound, I need to clean it out, like just make sure that it's good, and then put a band-aid over so it can heal, right? You're seeing that gash and you're like, it's fine. No, and it feels like it comes from a place of like, oh, I don't want to gather any attention. I don't want people to think like I'm making a big deal out of a little scratch. And it's like, it's clearly not just a little scratch. It's something that's been building up over time and that's really bothering you to the point where it's affecting the way you communicate, quite possibly. So we really need to address this. So purity is asking you to cleanse out that wound, okay? Bring attention to it. This is a full moon. Bring attention to it. Okay, we're going to get one last card. And this one we are going to read from the booklet. Let's get one last card for group 1. I just feel the need to tell you right now that your pain is valid and it deserves to be recognized. You're not making a big deal. Can you hear me? You're not making a big deal out of nothing just by trying to get your pain acknowledged. All right, listen. This is exactly what we were talking about. Can you hear me? You need to bring your attention and clearly somebody else's attention, but definitely first step is to bring your own attention to this issue. Can you hear me says, loneliness, cry for help, communication. A woman floats in a seashell on the big sea. She looks to the horizon as if she is waiting for somebody. She is holding a trumpet in her hand, ready to blow it when the time comes. The ocean symbolizes her feelings. Vast and seemingly unknowable, it surrounds her in an endless arc. She looks lonely and deserted, but she has a way of connecting, a tool for turning passive silence into supportive communication. She just needs to raise her trumpet and call for help. This reading was so straightforward. Look at even how the colors are like aligning. So straightforward. I really hope that it resonates. I hope that it gives you some confidence to work through this issue, to really address this pain, because it needs it and you deserve it, okay? And you're totally going to manage it, and you're going to feel so much more balanced. The King and Queen of Pentacles, this is an energy where you're going to feel really balanced. And let me tell you, I typically read all the court cards for yourself, but if I kind of change my filter of perspective, I can see that if this is an issue that you're dealing with one particular person, that person will appreciate you kind of stepping up for yourself. Ultimately, they will appreciate it because you both kind of want to work on this relationship or situation and bring it to a healthy balance, okay? All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope it resonated, and I do hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care. Hi, Group 2. This is your reading if you chose the Peach Moonstone with these beautiful specks inside. Honestly, the camera's not going to do it justice, so I apologize for that. Okay, let's move your oracle card to the side. I have not seen it. I have not taken a peek. I'm going to start off with tarot cards. So we are asking, what do you need to hear right now? So what do we need to bring to your awareness? Let me just turn that around. Okay, let's get into it for Group 2. What does Group 2 need to hear right now? Oh! You know what's funny? I had a feeling that the Two of Cups was going to come out, because as I was shuffling my cards before I hit record, I saw it and it just was staring at me. Like as I was cutting the deck at one point, it was just staring at me. Two of Cups. Interesting. Let's keep going to get some context for that. Oh! Okay. The Two of Cups to the Ten of Cups. We are definitely going to get some more context in just a second. I don't want to push it too much, but let me see what I can just pick up from just these two. You might be in communication with someone, and you might be either communicating about, or you might be personally considering, what does it take for me to experience a Ten of Cups? Meaning, what would fulfill me? What makes me happy? And I do like that it's the Two of Cups right before that, because the Two of Cups to me always speaks about authenticity. It speaks to me about really coming together one-on-one, being honest, right? Not in any way performative, but actually like, hey, this is my cup. What do you have in your cup? So there's like an authentic exchange here. And I do think that it is about two entities talking about, this is what I need to be fulfilled. I mean, it's cups. It can be about love. The Peach Moonstone does talk about being really hopeful in matters of love. However, this can also apply to pretty much everything else. We will get more cards, but this could also be about a workplace or a business partnership where you're like really considering, what would it take for me to feel really fulfilled in my career? But let's keep going and see what comes out. It's kind of difficult to follow that up. Oh, there's the Three of Cups. I mean, I like that because it feels like we're agreeing. We're talking authentically about, hey, this is what I need, this is what I want in order to be happy. and we're then celebrating because we're agreeing. This could quite literally, this is going to be for very, very, very few of you, okay? Please use your discernment. But as of right now, we have to get more cards. This could quite literally be the process of coming into union, and I mean like official union. This could be the process of getting engaged or the process of getting married and then celebrating that. Agreeing on, hey, this is what we need to feel happy in life. And then we have the Eight of Cups. More cups. And then the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I actually quite like the Eight of Cups there. It's not a bad vibe. Because what this Eight of Cups is telling me is that we're walking away, and I think we're walking away from delusions. We're walking away from being overly romantic or idealistic, or, you know, just kind of like the things that we held on to just out of a need for security. We're kind of releasing that. I do find it interesting that this Ten of Cups is like so close in the beginning, because it does feel like that we haven't reached the Ten of Cups yet. We're just talking about and planning the potential of it. I don't think that it's arrived. I think that the potential of it has arrived, or we're considering it, or we are. Let's just keep going. With this King of Wands, I definitely see that we're considering all these things, right? This is what we want. Look at this, like, he's so stern looking at all these cups. This King of Wands energy is telling me that this is what we're focused on. This is what we want. This is what we're building towards. Let's talk about this Two of Cups. So many cups. I mean, it's literally all cups. That was a hesitant card. Do you want it or not? Yeah, let's do it. It's the Hierophant. Somebody is getting engaged. Please, please, please use your discernment. If you already know that you're engaged, this is your reading, right? If you just recently got engaged, or you know you're about to get engaged, this is your reading. If you've been dating someone for 3 weeks, this is not this could still be your reading, but this does not mean that you're going to get engaged, okay? Please use your discernment. But this again means that there are two people or two entities, because again, it could be a work thing. It doesn't have to be about love. It is very heavily tied into your emotional well-being, but it still doesn't have to be about love. But there are two entities that are coming together in a very authentic and honest way, and that are saying like, hey, we are willing to commit to this. We are willing to put in the work, put in the effort, right? We are ready to dedicate ourselves to this coming together, to this union. So again, that could quite literally, if it's a work thing, that could be you and a business partner coming together under a contract, using a contract and being like, hey, like coming up with like a business plan of like, this is what we hope to accomplish within the next 5 years, right? Talk to me about this Ten of Cups. Oops, that was quick. With the Ace of Wands. Again, this is going to be for very few. I just have to say what I'm picking up, but very few. And if if I say it and it scares you, then just be aware about it and protect yourself, because I do see that this could be a union that is not necessarily through engagement or through marriage, but this could be a union through having a child, conceiving a child. For sure. For someone. Not for everyone. What is up with this Queen of Wands? Let's keep going for this Eight of Cups. Now it's getting juicy. Okay, I like this. I mean, I don't know why there's Three of Swords at the bottom. I know why. I know why. There's a Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Okay, here. Hear ye, hear ye. I don't know why the heck I said that. Somebody is going to get cold feet here. And quite honestly, I feel like it's you. Whoever I'm talking to, I feel like it's you. Not necessarily cold feet as in, oh, I don't want this, because you do want this. You do want this, but I think you're going to question the act of having to leave or give up your old life for whatever this new perspective and opportunity is. Somebody's going to struggle giving up their freedom, their autonomy, giving up their fun in life, like especially if we're talking about somebody coming to, like people coming together to have a child. Then it's like, you know, you can't go partying anymore. It's not about you anymore, quite literally. Like that is this Eight of Cups that we're walking away from. Things that we used to grip onto, that felt like they were really important to us, that they brought a lot of stability to us. That is something that you're going to have to turn away from. And the reason that this is going to cause you a little bit of distress, you're still going to do it. That's why we have this Queen of Pentacles, because you know it's worth it, right? This is worth it. You know it's worth it. But you're still going to feel a little heartache for a old version of yourself, for a version of yourself that you're leaving behind. It's still going to be like, oh, but that's someone that I used to fight for, right? Especially with this Knight of Swords. Like, that's something I used to identify with. With this Three of Cups, you are celebrating this decision to follow this. But then at the same time, I literally am getting like this imagery of people like being excited for you. And the more people get excited for you, it's like it makes it more real, because it's then reflected back to you how excited they are. Meaning you see like, oh my God, people are so excited for me. Why do I not feel like that? I thought I would feel that way, and that's totally okay. Life changes are really scary. This is somebody making a huge commitment to something, whether that is starting a business with someone else, because then you're leaving behind your freedom to create your own thing, right? Because you have to work together with someone. This is starting a business with someone else. This is starting a relationship with someone. This is getting engaged with someone. This is getting married with someone. This is having a child with someone. This is really committing to working with someone else outside of yourself, okay? And even though this is leading towards your happiness and it's a new beginning, even though you're like, yes, I can see the potential and eventually I'm gonna be really happy. And even though everybody's like, oh my God, congratulations, that's so awesome, you're gonna be sitting there and being like, why am I not as excited as everyone else? And the reason is that it's the unknown. Right now, if you didn't change your life, if you didn't commit to that, you would know what tomorrow looked like. You would know what next month looks like. But committing to this, you're bringing in a variable, right? You're bringing into your life, which was very much controlled by you, you're bringing in a variable that you cannot predict. And right now you're at the beginning stages of this coming together, so you don't know what it's going to be like, and you have to give up huge parts of your old life in order to make this commitment. So it is something where you're feeling like you're going to be kind of hard on yourself because everybody's so excited, and you're going to feel like, is it the wrong decision? Is that why I'm not feeling as excited as other people? And I just want to tell you that it's totally fair to feel both things, that it's totally fair to feel excited about your new life and to feel grief over the loss of your old life. But that's not going to hold you back from going towards that Ten of Cups, because that's what the Eight of Cups does, right? The Eight of Cups is the decision to move towards your 10 of Cups, because 8 is not enough to fulfill you. So you're still going to follow through this, and you will recognize with this Queen of Pentacles energy, you will recognize that it is totally worth it. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. Let's roll some dice. Maybe we can get some insight on which aspect of your life this pertains to. The 10th house. Funny, the last reading was 10th house as well, which is why I keep in this reading still kept feeling like I have to clarify that it doesn't have to be a love reading just because there's hella cups, okay? Because it is really about your emotional stability and what fulfills you. So that's why the 10th house is the highest point of your chart. It's how you are perceived, and it is also your career house. But the highest point of your chart can also, if your 10 of Cups and your emotional fulfillment is to have a family, then that can still be the highest point of your chart, right? We often say like, oh, 10th house is career, but that's not all. It's literally what you feel like where in life you shine the most, where you are focused on the most. Oof, and look at that. I just put together these other energies. I was so focused on the 10th house. Oof, okay, this is a lot because we have Aries and we have the South Node. The South Node is about releasing things that we don't need anymore. Aries energy. Aries is the first of the zodiac. Aries is a cardinal energy, which means that it is an energy of leading. It leads, but it leads by what it wants. Aries is focused. Aries is headstrong. Aries is passionate. Aries is the Queen of Wands. But that's where we're making this transition, right? From the Queen of Wands to the Queen of Pentacles. Because we are realizing that what we need to release is the idea that we have to do it alone, that it's just us. We have to release that ideology that we are looking out for ourselves, working for ourselves, like doing it all ourselves. There's a union that you are entering, and it's going to require you to release the attitude of having to do it all alone. Because when we enter a union, again, no matter what flavor the union, whether it's love, work, or whatever else, whenever we enter a union, we have to take that other variable into account. We can't just make decisions on our own. We have to open up to co-creation. And that's what we're talking about here. Releasing the idea of like, oh, I'm like doing it all by myself. I'm doing it all alone. And again, that comes with a little tinge. It comes with a little twist of the knife because we feel like perhaps in the past we identified with the idea of like, oh, I'm always alone, or I do everything alone, or I'm like strong and independent, right? And now going into union, there's a little bit of a tweak where the grief will not outweigh the excitement and the joy, but the adjustment period will include this grief, and that's okay. Let's turn this card around. I don't know what it is. Creation. I'm telling you, somebody here is actively deciding to be like, you know what, we're gonna make a baby. You and I, we are gonna make a baby. That's somebody here, okay? If you're like, I don't even know who that's supposed to be with, then it's not for you, okay? If you are currently not considering any kind of union, if you're like, I'm not talking to anyone, I'm not dating anyone, I don't have any business partnerships coming up, try to think of how this reading might still apply in terms of where you're coming together, perhaps with something that isn't a person, because that's also possible. So you could decide to change your career, right? You could decide to change something that you really thought you were into, that you really were pursuing. There might be a shift where you're committing to something that is rather new and offers you a lot of excitement. Okay, but creation, I love this. This is definitely about coming together, right? Creation requires two things to come together to form something new. That's what we're talking about here. And it's totally okay to feel the Three of Swords is not as dramatic as it looks, first of all, but as a lot of times we make it out to be, because Ten of Swords, that is true betrayal. That is true pain. That is true defeat. Three of Swords is very early on in the suit of the swords, right? It's very much like, ouch, that wasn't nice. So it's not as, I've been coming around to the Three of Swords a lot. Like, it's just, it's a necessary pain, and pain is always a sign of growth, okay? And this is definitely a huge growth spurt that you're going through. Now, let's pull some oracle cards. I also always like to take a moment when I'm shuffling to see if there's any other way that I could read this, just to make sure I'm not missing any blind spots. But I really don't, I think this is very much about you. I don't think this is, I mean, it's about you coming together with someone or something, and the mental process that it requires of you. I really don't think that this Three of Swords has any external value, aside from your external environment completely changing and that affecting you. Okay, let's get a card for group 2, please. Whoops, I went flying. False beliefs. Once the untruths that we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways that we can release the false limitations they confine us to. This is making me think, look at the owl. This is making me think about what I said of that identifying as, oh, I'm an independent person, or oh, I do everything alone, or I do this way. I do, like, this idea, even it doesn't have to be as broad as that, right? It doesn't have to be like, oh no, I'm an independent person, so I can't go into union. It can be as simple as, this is going to be random, but it can be as simple as saying like, oh no, I sleep with the TV on at night. Like, that's the only way I go to sleep. And let's say you're going into union with someone, moving in together, and it's like, okay, that's not going to work for this other person, so you need to find a common ground. So you need to not feel intimidated by the fact that somebody coming into your space, or you joining spaces with someone else, that is taking away from you just because your life is changing, right? I hope that that makes sense, that it becomes of, it can easily turn into like, oh, you're making me give up this and you're making me give up that. And it's like, no, that other person isn't making you give up anything. You guys are choosing to come together, and coming together requires a natural release of the things that don't suit you anymore. Let's keep going. Interesting. That was 2 cards. I will let you glance at them, but I want to, oh, that is even more interesting. Oh, never mind, it was just one. I thought the whole deck was upside down and these weren't, but it was just the bottom card was upside down. I will let you glance at them, but I really kind of want to get just one. It says attraction and the unexpected. And I think that's kind of what I'm feeling, because you are attracting in a union, and the unexpected part of it, I think, is that you really felt like, no, I really am like, I do things alone. I do things this way. Like, it's just like, there's definitely with this Aries energy, right? There's this stubborn energy of like, no. But you're attracting in something where it's going to help you grow into being more malleable, more like going with the flow, more, you're going to become more, there's a specific word I'm trying to get to and I can't get it. You're going to become more, I'm getting democratic, but I don't know that that's the word I'm looking for. It's more so that you're just going to become more willing to to work together. So I guess maybe democratic, but that was a hesitant one. What is going on? Come on. Group 2. One card, please. Clear card. There we go. The Path. Yep, this is going to be a journey. At the bottom of the deck, we have faith. Have faith in this. You do want this, but... Okay. What I saw with this Faith card and the Ten of Cups right now, as I was processing that, imagine walking up this very shaky ladder. As you're walking up, climbing up this ladder, you have to put a lot of focus and attention on each step because look at, they're crooked, right? And so as you're standing down here, you're looking up and you see the skies, right? From her perspective, she can't really see the ground. So you really only see the hypothetical of the promised land, the hypothetical of there's sunshine up there, the hypothetical of it's going to be nice up there and I will like it. You don't see the ground, you don't see the actual structure and the base of it. So as you climb up, you have to focus your viewpoint on each step you take, and because of that, you lose focus and you lose sight of this excitement, right? So as you're walking away from an old life, you're very much focused on the technicalities of it, right? Giving up your apartment or giving up your personal space, right? Or giving up your own business to start a business with someone else. As you're going through the technicalities of that to merge with someone, you're going to be feeling like, am I even gaining anything? I'm giving up so much because you're just focused on the work at each step that you take on this ladder. But at some point, you'll be high up enough on your path where you will see that it's going to be very much worth it. That is beautiful. Also, this is an 8, which is about balance and coming together and, you know, meditation as well. Let's see. Oh, I think we are coming to the end already. Yeah, there's no more decks that I have that I want to pull from. So this, and by that I mean I have one more. So this is going to be the last oracle card that we pull, and this is going to be a card that I read from the booklet. So for group 2, let me just summarize right quick. You're coming together to create something new with someone or something, someplace. It's gonna feel like a little shaky, but it's totally gonna be worth it. This looks authentic. It looks like, you know, both of you are willing to show up and dedicate yourselves to this. And it's going to feel exciting, and other people are going to be so excited and happy for you. Their excitement might kind of shock you into, like a deer in headlights, kind of shock you into freezing up a little bit. And you're going to question, do I really want this? Because it's going to require for me to leave a lot of things behind. Do I really want this? And it's healthy to consider that. Don't think that you questioning how much you want this, that's not a sign of you not wanting it. That's a sign of you having a healthy relationship to this, whatever it is. Having a healthy relationship with yourself and really taking stock of, okay, is this really what I want? And then you will very strongly affirm, yes, it will be worth it. Even if it hurts a little to let go some of your freedoms, it will be worth it because you're gaining completely new freedoms that you didn't have access to previously, okay? And experiences especially. Let's get one last oracle card for group 2. This is a huge move. Oh, a long way home. Interesting. This is a huge coming together, a huge move, and I would love to hear in the comments if it resonates, how you're feeling, first of all, but also what you think that this actually pertains to. Are you getting engaged? Are you getting married? Are you having a child? Are you starting a business? Because I'm sure there's lots of other ways that this can apply. Those are just the ones that are coming to mind for me. So I would love to hear. Okay. I'm excited. So we already had the path, right? We already spoke about a journey. And then we have card number 35, a long way home. It says journey remembrances, experiences, passage. Look at this little elephant on his journey through the skies. He lives in a huge balloon and has his castle with him. Lights guide the way while he slowly passes over the horizon. How long is his journey, and when will it end? Will he drop anchor again or continue his travels? This card reflects how we pass through our lives. During our pilgrimage, we collect memories strong enough to fill a castle and light enough to buoy our voyage. I like that we collect memories strong enough to fill a castle. And that's what we have to keep in mind with this Eight of Cups. Just because your life is changing, rearranging, it doesn't mean that you're losing aspects of yourself. You're growing into new aspects of who you are. You're gaining new experiences, and you're taking the old experiences with you, and you're only leaving behind the things that you don't have to take with you anyways. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. Also, long way home means that you're on your way home. That Eight of Cups means you're heading towards the Ten of Cups, okay? And again, as long as you feel like this other entity or other person is authentic and showing up just as committed to this as you are, which I do think they are, because we have two people that are very committed to a structure here. As long as you feel that this is an authentic coming together, it is totally going to be worth it. And you will feel really assured in that after having questioned it. Questioning it doesn't mean that you're not going to choose it. It just means you're doing your due diligence. All right? Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do hope that this resonated and that it confirmed some things, and I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care. Hi, Group 3. This is your reading if you chose this lovely sunstone. It has some really cute flecks in there. And we're going to set this right here, this way. And we're going to put your Oracle card to the side. I have not peeked at it. I do not know what it is. We're going to start off with Tarot. So we are asking, what do you need to hear at this time? We're going to get right into it. So for Group 3, what do they need to hear at this time? Whoop. We have the Justice card. Oh my God, I just got really hot. Is somebody on the hot seat? Oof, like really hot all over my arms too, like out of nowhere. So we have the Justice card and we have the Four of Wands. So right off the bat, I'm gonna have to get more context, but right off the bat, I'm feeling with these two that somebody might be entering some kind of contract, might have to do with your home, a house, could also just have to be with your stability in general, but it does feel like something is about to rule in your favor. Something is about to kind of fall in your favor. But also, this isn't something that is just outside of your control. This is something where you are making a choice, and you're making a choice that is worth celebrating. Let's keep going. We have the Seven of Swords. We're going to get more context. Look at all this yellow. Literally all of these cards have a yellow background. And at the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Swords. What is going on with the Seven of Swords? This is an issue. This is an issue. The Seven of Swords can have a lot of different meanings. And context is really important with the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords also came out in reading 1, and it was pretty clear immediately what it meant in that reading. And here it's being a little bit more elusive. And it's being elusive mainly because energetically, I don't feel like this is part of your energy. I feel like there's something slipping through the cracks here. Something is either you decided or something is being decided in your favor. And it's causing celebration, it's causing a sense of stability, it's causing a sense of like, cool, got it. And then there's something that's slipping through the cracks. And this, I think, is your energy, this Nine of Pentacles. And I think you're so kind of elated from this decision having been made that you're not quite catching this. But I'm telling you, usually I do tend to read all cards related to you unless the energy tells me otherwise, okay? So typically I would feel like this Knight of Swords is your energy, but I'm feeling like this is someone else's energy and this is someone else's energy, this Knight of Swords. I feel like you're not looking out for this, whatever's slipping through the cracks, you're not looking out for it, but somebody else is going to catch it. Somebody else is going to catch it for you. And they're going to be like, hold up. This is going to be very, very specific for very few people, but this might even be a lawyer that is catching something in some type of contract. That could very well be. Let's keep going and get some more context. Let's see what's going on here. What about this Justice card? Tell me about this Justice card. Oh, you got the Ten of Swords. Why did I just hear defamation? Defamation. What about this Four of Wands? This feels like a juicy story, to be honest. We got the King of Cups. Let's finish out this row. Oh, this is getting messy. What? Look at the difference. Okay. What? Look at the difference in the top and in the bottom row. I'm telling you, something is slipping through the cracks, because that's the thing. Here, everything was looking very like solid, and then this is like a crack, and it's slipping through the cracks. Look at even the way the swords are pointing at this King of Cups. Why are they pointing at this King of Cups? Who is this King of Cups? Who is this King of Cups? I feel like I just had a weird double vision moment where it almost looked like this guy was turning his head. That was really weird. But I almost feel like intuitively you're already very unsure. There's something that's about to slip the cracks, and you're intuitively already very unsure on whether you can trust a certain situation. But you put your faith in something with this Justice card. I just realized all of these are yellow backgrounds, and we have the Sunstone, which is very much solar plexus energy. I'm not liking this. And it's not that I'm not liking it for your sake. There's just something that is very under the surface. There's a strong undercurrent here. That's the thing. There's a strong undercurrent. and I'm having a difficult time figuring this out, and that's something that intrigues me, but I don't like when I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to be pulling more cards. I'm going to be pulling because I need to get to the bottom of this. What are we dealing with here? 10th. Are you kidding me? Every reading, the 10th house has come out. Scorpio and Pluto. Okay, see, that's, I'm telling you, undercurrent. Scorpio and Pluto is very much undercurrent energies. The 10th house is your house of career, but it's also the house where you shine. It's the highest point of your chart. So it's wherever you shine in life. I feel like you may have sorry, I'm just trying to pick up what I can get from this Justice card. I feel like you may have had some kind of judgment on someone and you felt victorious, but there's some kind of weird undercurrent here. I'm going to pull more cards because this is interesting. Let's connect the dots here. What about this Justice and this 10 of Swords? It does feel like it could have to do with work, but this is definitely something that was like a long time coming. This is something that, especially with this 10 of Swords already, was like a long time coming, right? There's something that reached its peak. Some kind of conflict, some kind of disagreement, argument that reached its peak, and it had been a long time coming. And because it reached its peak, it was like, okay, this is where we decide. Okay, listen. I'm picking up something and I'm not a fan of it. But I have to say what I see. You have to know how this applies, okay? It's interesting because I do think that you have done a lot of work on like healing your confidence. Here's one storyline I'm picking up. Again, typically I don't necessarily involve other people unless the energy is very clear. And I do feel there's someone else's energy is very much like invading this reading. That's why there's this undercurrent, right? Because your energy, I feel like, was very much focused on, let's keep the peace, let's make things right, like let's try, or let's figure something out. And that can be work related or that can be in a relationship, okay? But what I'm picking up on here is that you felt something was closed out, something was an issue, reached its peak, it was addressed, and then kind of like set aside. Like we have addressed it, the judgment has been made, and we're moving forward. You are moving forward. That person, the other person, is not moving forward. They do not see the situation the way you do. Although I think they might have pretended. They might have said like, yeah, like we're totally in agreement. Yeah, like I get it. Like this makes sense. We needed to hash this out. And yet emotionally, I think they're very much holding on to that. And in the meantime, you're like, oh, like we're cool here. Everything's cool. I think that they are actually trying to figure out how to manage something. Okay, I need to get more cards before I get into more detail because I don't want to bark up the wrong tree. Oh. Oh. Oh my God, who did you piss off? And that's kind of a joke, but honestly, it's also kind of not. You got someone in their feelings and it might have been your boss. If you have a boss, it might have been your boss. If this is a relationship thing, which honestly, it feels like a work thing, but if this is a relationship thing, it's a person. It might have been an ex-friend or a friend in general. It might have been your ex. It might have been whoever you're in a relationship now where you thought, we're good. Like, you thought, like, this is fine, right? But they are holding on to a grudge. This person, whether it's your boss, I do feel like they have some kind of, with the Emperor, of course, here, there's this desire to exert control. Let's keep going here. What about the Seven of Swords with the Two of Pentacles? They pretended like, yeah, we squashed this and we're all equals here, and yet they feel like they lost somehow, and so they are like holding a grudge. And you are kind of unaware of this, which is why I'm here to bring your awareness to it, I guess. I guess we're doing a juicy reading. This is not what I expected. This is not how the other readings went at all. Okay. And then the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck. What the heck? I swear the other readings were so straightforward, and this one is so... I think you're very gracious with this person. And I think you're really trying to move on from this. You're really trying to move on from whatever this is. I don't even think that if this was a relationship, I don't even think that you really want to be with them anymore. Like, I think if this is a job, you are wanting to move away from this job. You are wanting to maybe work for yourself and explore your options. Because you know what? It may be that both parties are pretending like, yeah, it's fine, but they are holding on to a grudge, and it might be that you're actually also holding on to the pain of the situation. It's like you can't go back to the way things were before, because even the way things were before, they were not great. So it kind of feels like not being able to pretend any longer. And yet on your end, it doesn't feel like you're taking it very personal. I think you're very much focused on you, and this other person is also focused on you. So instead of it being like a grudge where you're focused on them and they're focused on you, being like, oh, like this undercurrent of tension, it's like you're like, oh, complete, like, look at her. She's looking over here. She's looking at her pentacle. He's like just proud of himself. Those are all your energies. Even this Page of Wands is your energy. Looking off into the future of like, well, I guess I just got to take myself somewhere else. And this person is looking back to the past, looking at what has been, like holding on to their emotions, holding on to their anger, like really being kind of like hot and cold, like holding on to all these grudges. They're very strong in your energy, which I don't like, especially with this Emperor in the smack in the middle of the reading. Look at that. That was 2 cards that came out for this row. So that's already an extra card that we got. So now he's smack in the reading. He's centering himself in your life. Don't like that. Not cute. We don't need that. We don't need that. That could be your boss, that could be your father, that could be your ex, that could be your husband. Just because they're showing up as an emperor doesn't mean that they're, oh, that's your divine masculine or anything like that. Let me just correct that, right? Just because they're showing up as an emperor in this context, this is telling me that they want to be able to control you. They want to be able to reign over you. And you're not having it, and you're not even picking up on that. You might be aware of that, but you're not even like, you're not willing to submit anymore, because I think you have in the past, and you've made a decision that you want to be done with that, and you want to bury the hatchet, and I think they pretended to be okay with that. If you've given in a resignation somewhere, if you've If you've given someone your resignation and they have been like, oh yeah, I wish you the best, there's a weird undercurrent here. There's a weird undercurrent, and I don't like it. I don't trust this person. And if you followed me for a while, if you've watched my reading for a while, you know that I don't do any kind of like inflammatory readings on purpose. I just read whatever I see. I don't do any he said, she said stuff. But this is a very sneaky undercurrent, and I don't like it because they are not, they should be worried about themselves. You're worried about yourself, and they are worried about you. Why? That Scorpio energy, that Pluto energy, that to me just talks about there's something being under the surface that is infected, that is like not, that is not being as honest as they should be, especially with that Seven of Swords. Let's turn around your card. Deep roots. Oof. Under the surface, deep roots. There's something deeply. Okay, so with deep roots, I do feel like this could pertain to a father figure. That's possible. That there is something that is happening in your life that could relate to your relationship with your father. That is possible. Or some kind of ancestor, where it's kind of like a magnified pattern that you have with someone else, right? That's a possibility, even if it is your partner, your ex, anything like that. Listen, if you're getting a divorce, especially, because remember I said that that Knight of Swords could be a lawyer. If you're in the process of getting a divorce, they are not letting go, even if they are pretending to let go. And I don't mean on an emotional like, oh, I want to get you back. No, this is ego driven. This is not emotion driven. This is holding an emotional grudge based on ego. They might be hiding some kind of assets from you. If this is a divorce, right, where it comes down to like splitting up assets, they might be hiding some kind of assets with this Seven of Swords. Pretending like, oh, I don't, like playing dumb with this Two of Pentacles. I'm getting really annoyed by this person. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. And deep roots, especially if this is a divorce situation, you know, when you're pulling something up, pulling something out, it's so interesting because pile 2 was all about merging, and this feels very much about pulling things apart, which is very scorpionic because it's like, okay, let's get to the bottom of it and see like what is what. And when you're pulling things apart, like sometimes you don't realize how deep the roots of a plant grow. So that can also be a plant of a relationship, or this could be a plant of resentment, right? You don't even realize how deep these roots have grown. You are very focused on your own growth and on your own movement forward. With this Queen of Pentacles, you're like, you know what, this hurt me, but I'm moving forward and I'm taking what I can from it. I'm taking the wisdom, whatever I've learned. This is such an interesting reading because of this really, really odd undercurrent. Okay, let's get a card for group 3. For group 3. Oops. I got one, I want one more. Okay, we have strength of vulnerability and circles. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. True power lies at the root of a perceived weakness. At the bottom of the deck, we have misalignment. Miracles become normal once we face all of the aspects of our life in the same direction. Honestly, I was kind of expecting the Trickster's card to come out, to be completely honest. Would not have surprised me. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm, and true power lies at the root of a perceived weakness. You're so focused on you, and you're so focused on outgrowing this situation. And this is the imagery that I'm seeing. Outgrowing this situation is like being like, okay, I'm like standing up, and there's these roots, which is this person that is like holding on to you, but they're holding on to you under the surface, under the earth, right? And so you're like, okay, I'm standing up and I'm leaving, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, bye. But under the surface, they are gripping, and I don't like that energy. I don't like it. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. I think that is the clarity that you have received when this happened, when this Ten of Swords, this Justice card, when you were going through that and being like, you know what? I really am trying to get to a point where I can be excited about this. Again, there was something that was some kind of decision made in your favor, and it's just not sitting right with someone. Let's get some more oracle cards. I really hope this reading confirms something for someone, because this is a challenging one. Whoops. We have hunger. This is such a wild ride. I want to get, actually, you know what? I'm going to use a different deck. What I'm getting from this card is follow your hunger, because you have this Nine of Pentacles and you have this Nine of Cups, and look, now there's the Two of Wands. I didn't even realize I just set that down like that. This Two of Pentacles and this Page of Wands that is leading you somewhere else, and that I think is really important. You took what you could from this situation. You're taking your wisdom with you. I don't know why a lot of this reading is focused on this other energy. It might have to do with Spirit really wanting to confirm that on the surface things look one way and the undercurrent is so strong, right? So your intuition has probably told you not to trust this person, or that it's worse than it looks. But a lot of times when that happens, you know, we try to brush it off, and we try to tell ourselves like, oh, it's not that serious, or I'm just thinking the worst. I don't know. I feel like part of this reading is trying to confirm to you, like, no, you knew that this wasn't a safe space for you, or you know that that there's a really like odd energy coming from this particular person or this job, and that you have this hunger to go somewhere else for a very valid reason. And you just not feeling comfortable is not a weakness. It is actually a power, because you are sensitive to that undercurrent. And if you were to expose yourself too much to that undercurrent for much longer, it would rip you under. I'm going to pull some cards just for you. Let's see what comes out. Just for my group 3 people. You're getting extra cards because I really am like, what is going on? Ace of Swords. Yeah, this is the insight of being like, I was right. Because I'm basically asking, like, what is this reading about for you? And this is the insight that you were right about that person and that you need to move on to somewhere else. That Three of Wands, that we're trying to go somewhere else, getting away from this. The Hermit card also kind of, I did notice that, you know, with the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups, like, you have very solitary cards, and it's like, no, trust your intuition, follow your intuition, but also trust only your own guidance. Like, don't trust, I don't know who this is, what this is, but don't trust what they're saying, because they have a really weird undercurrent that is not coming to the surface. And it very much has to do with control and yeah, just power and control and emotional grudges of some sort. Let me see, what can I get about this other person? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull an archetype card for them in a second. Talk to me about this person, this other energy. What is this energy? Let's talk about this other energy. We have the Six of Cups. We have Judgment. Oh, that's too many. Should I take a peek at them? The Tower, the Chariot, and the Two of Cups. That was something that at some point this was fine. At some point this is a relationship that helped you a lot, that guided you a lot. And maybe because of that, they have some kind of expectations in you. What about this other energy? One more. The Sun card. Yeah, both of these give me very much like it's child energy, and there's this Five of Cups. They have so many expectations in you. They have so many expectations in you because they either mentored you, or they taught you something, or they like supplied you. If this is an ex-husband, they feel like they supplied you a lot of like resources, or because you have children, they have expectations in you. But there's something where this person wasn't always out to get you or anything. They're just hurt, and they're just kind of like projecting a lot. But I am feeling like they, again with the sun in astrology represents the father, and Aries is very much connected to the sun. Like they might feel like you brought a lot of energy to them. But I'm telling you, they have some kind of expectations in you that I feel like are unwarranted. You're trying to go off and do your own thing, and you're totally like meant to. Spirit is totally supporting you in that, and they are just like feeling like they're crying over spilled milk, first of all. But second of all, they have like unreasonable expectations in you. Especially if this is a job, if this is a boss. Their expectations are like emotionally attached to you, and that is just icky. Because if that's your boss, like they should not have any emotional expectations from you. That's no. This again, this reading is for you to keep doing what you're doing, keep going on your path, and you got this right. Okay, let me pull. I'm telling you, you're getting so many extra cards. Don't tell anyone. I'm going to pull an archetype card for this other person, this other energy. Again, it doesn't have to be a person, but I think for most of you it is a person. Give me one card for this other energy. Listen, I don't like it. We have Athlete, and at the bottom of the deck we have Don Juan, which I feel like that is using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Don't like it. Don't like it. misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends, false sense of invulnerability and entitlement. In the best of times, they were all about dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Especially with the athlete card, I'm getting pulled back to the idea of this being a mentor, like a coach or a mentor, some kind of position where this person was like showing you the ropes, right? Showing you how to train. And I think they maybe got lost with boundaries. And they either developed, again, if this is a boss or a coach or something like that, they developed some kind of like father-daughter bond with you, maybe, where it's just, the lines got really blurry, I think. And so there's something where they are just not, the lines are really blurry and it's really uncomfortable, to be honest. I'm not a fan. But the focus is on the fact that even this is an undercurrent, right? On the surface, they're keeping it quite clean. So take advantage of that. Because they're keeping it quite clean on the surface, take advantage of that and go through what you got to go through to get away, honestly. That's what I'm feeling. Do what you got to do to get away. The reading is a confirmation that yes, what you're feeling, what you think, what you're perceiving is accurate. It's not in your head. That you are meant to expand and go somewhere else, and that you are meant to follow your intuition because your intuition is trying to keep you safe, okay? Wait, what a weird reading. Okay, let's now pull one last oracle card, and this one I'm going to read from the booklet. One last oracle card for group 3. One last oracle card for group 3. Can we be clear, please? No hesitant cards. One last card for oracle, for group number 3. One last oracle card for group number 3. I want. I pissed them off. Oh, sorry. I want clear as day. Give me a jumper. This reading is so like blurred lines, very much blurred lines. This reading is so blurred lines. I want a very, very clear last card. Please. Thank you. There we go. White Rose of Hope. Let's read it from the booklet. That is number 30. Hope, Beacon, Solution, and Beginnings. We see a woman dressed in a blue gown standing somewhere in a lonely landscape. Darkness surrounds her, but a shining white rose glows like a beacon and illuminates the night. Maybe this woman is lost. Maybe she is uncertain about her feelings. Yet thanks to the light of the flower, she can find her way. White roses symbolize hope, new beginnings, admiration, and young love. There are exciting times ahead. And that's the thing. Like, I think Spirit is like, just focus on you moving on, because that's what you're already doing. This was just a confirmation that yes, that person does not have your best interest at heart. Move on from it. Keep following your intuition. This very much is connecting to clarity begins in the eye of the storm. I feel like once things were as bad as they could get, you were like, oh wow, it's so clear now. Like, I need to get away from this. And this White Rose of Hope is telling you, like, yes, follow your intuition. You are moving on to better things, okay? Oof. This is going to be very, very, I feel like this is for very, very select people. Okay, I do hope it helped you confirm some things, and I hope it gives you some kind of closure to move away from this energy, because it doesn't feel nice. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I do hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care.